Sophie Cunningham is saying here about the Indiana Fever offense should be obvious. This should be how it is. If you're a Caitlin Clark, if you're a LeBron James, your system should, your basketball offensive system should run through that super.
Okay, so Sophie Cunningham is suddenly the villain again. The WNBA actually had to pull her aside because she said something that, honestly, every fan already knows. The Fever's entire offense runs through Caitlin Clark. And somehow, that simple fact managed to light social media on fire. So here's the real question. Was Sophie wrong for saying it out loud, or was she just the only one bold enough to tell the truth? Because, seriously, the reaction to her comments has been completely over the top.
Sophie Cunningham has come out and said such, and says that it was running through her. I guess when she was on the court. Now, we saw a few times where it looked like it was actually running through her. But we also saw times where it looked like it absolutely was not. She was playing off the ball way too much. But what has surprised me about these comments is Sophie Cunningham is...
Look, she didn't disrespect anyone. She didn't spill locker room secrets. She just said a fact. The Fever's offense runs through Caitlin Clark, exactly how it's supposed to. That's not shade, that's basketball logic. But apparently, in today's WNBA, stating the obvious can somehow earn you a warning. Here's what actually happened. On her podcast, Sophie was talking about how elite players, like Caitlin Clark or LeBron James, naturally shape their team's entire system. When you have a generational player like that, the offense flows through them. That's just how the game works.
And or like a healthy LeBron, wherever they go, that team will probably be above 500.
Yep. But
is that fair to say?
Yes, but I think that the reason behind that is because those types of athletes, they get to come into an organization, they have the green light, and they can do whatever they want. Where that is very rare to get drafted and be able to control the whole system.
Right. Was CC making decisions like?
Yeah.
With it, yeah.
As she should.
No way.
As she should, but I also think that they. Go
that's crazy. I didn't realize that. She's just young. I just didn't think that.
But when you have a generational talent like that, she should have a lot to say of the system.
Her words were simple. She literally said, when you've got a talent like that, they should have a say in how the system runs. That's it. And somehow, chaos erupted. Fans started arguing. Reporters clipped the quote completely out of context, and the league apparently wasn't thrilled either. According to sources close to the Fever, league reps actually reached out to remind Sophie about media discipline and not sharing internal details. Translation: stop talking about Caitlin Clark on your podcast. Let's get this straight. A player got warned for saying the offense runs through a superstar who leads the league in ratings, merch sales, and headlines. That's not controversy, that's comedy. But here's where it gets even more ridiculous. Some of the loudest backlash came from Caitlin Clark fans themselves. Yes, the same ones who post non-stop highlights of her pulling up from the logo were suddenly mad at Sophie for complimenting her. Comments flooded in. I'm so sick of Sophie. She talks too much. She's chasing clout. Really? That's drama? For saying the offense should run through Clark? If that's controversial, then water's controversial for being wet.
We saw what happened. The one game where I'll say you're pretty confident that this was happening was second half of Atlanta, where Caitlin Clark kind of got into it with Stephanie White at halftime, and they come out in the second half. Tash Howard's benched for a lot of it. Kelsey Mitchell gets benched for a good bit of it, and they really go on their huge run, where they go from losing at halftime to winning by 20.
Let's be real. Sophie Cunningham isn't the villain here. She didn't insult anyone. She didn't leak secrets. She just said what every fan already knows. The Fever's offense runs through Caitlin Clark, exactly like it should. That's not shade, that's basketball logic. But apparently, in today's WNBA, stating the obvious can earn you a warning. On her podcast, Sophie said one simple thing: when you've got a talent like that, they should have a say in how the system runs. That's it. And somehow, chaos erupted. Fans argued, reporters clipped the quote out of context, and the league reportedly reminded her to watch her words. Translation: Stop talking about Caitlin Clark. Here's the irony. Sophie was in that locker room. She saw how the team worked. When Clark had the ball, the Fever looked alive. When she didn't, it looked like 5 players running 5 different plays. So if anyone's earned the right to speak on it, it's her. But instead of appreciating her honesty, the league panicked. The WNBA says it wants growth and personality, but it also wants perfect, PR-approved sound bites. Players like Sophie, outspoken, emotional, real, are exactly what make fans care. Remember when she was the only one who stood up for Clark after that hard foul? That's leadership, not drama. The truth is, Sophie's comment hit a nerve because it exposed something bigger. The Fever still struggle to consistently run their system through Clark. Everyone sees it, but no one wants to say it. Sophie just did. And for that, she got labeled too loud. But here's the twist. Caitlin Clark reportedly didn't mind at all. She laughed it off. Because Sophie wasn't wrong. She was honest. And that honesty is exactly what the WNBA needs more of. So yeah, the league can warn her all at once, but fans are listening. Because Sophie Cunningham didn't start drama. She just said the quiet part out loud. The Fever's offense belongs to Caitlin Clark, and maybe the future of the WNBA does too.